Hi ho there, guys. Yeah, I am trying to put together a tree trimming video, and need to go back and explain that I'm not going to do the crab fishing video. I had a scaled down version of, I guess, our version of Deadliest Catch. We were taking the moose yacht, the John boat out, running the crab pots. But the fact is like everything else in Alaska, I was really involved in the activity of it and just had a hard time filming. And so we got lots of footage, but it was mostly just of us running the boat back and forth and cleaning crabs and all that stuff. Really didn't get any footage of us pulling pots and pulling crabs out of the pot. So just decided to nix the crabbing video. So we're going to do a tree trimming video here. And this one is not really an educational. It's just showing some footage of me and River poking around and cutting some trees down. So we've done three removals here in the last few days that were decently gnarly. One was over a house. The other one had some complications. The other one really wasn't risking damaging anything to speak of other than damaging other trees or damaging the street there in town. So I had to climb it and top it out and then piece the tree down. So nonetheless, we've got some little tidbits of footage of that stuff and then a message, you know, kind of in that at the end. So anyway, yeah, let's head to town and cut down a pecan tree, a cedar elm, and a pine tree, and we'll I don't know, have some fun whittling on some wood. Bless you guys.
Always got to be careful with this kind of a situation because I'm crouched over the top of the power lines, so if I swing, I'll swing under the crotch, which is going to swing me right into the power line. And once I get past this first limb here,
Okay, so I'm actually up in the tree and River is down on the ground. I've got a rope that runs up to a branch over my head and I'm tied onto the branch that I'm cutting right now. So effectively the tree becomes its own crane to remove itself. Obviously you got to be careful swinging big stuff over the top of people's heads, and River's really good on the ground, pays close attention. But it's kind of fascinates me that the tree becomes its own crane, and you know, when you get down to kind of the last little bit of tree, it starts getting a little bit more complicated on using it to remove itself. But that's a large part of how we do these removals is we just use the tree to let itself down. We've got power lines underneath just behind me. Obviously, I'm right over the house right now. This tree had already been topped some time ago, and I think the freeze last year ultimately killed the tree. I'm not a big fan of topping trees. I will say that this is a pecan tree, and they handle it better than a lot of trees. But it's kind of the beginning of the end when you start to top out a tree. And obviously, when it's over a house, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But I don't believe it was advantageous for this tree to have been topped and then the freeze come. Anyway, we're taking this one out, and we've got a couple more to show you after this one. So let's get this one down on the ground and get back after it. Don't come under that. Seriously, come on.
Okay, I think I want the small saw back for these next few cuts. Okay. Whoa. Okay, little slack. Little slack. I got the red rope. I'll have to get you to. I can't hear you. Well, direct me. I don't know what to do. I can't really see. Whoa, Nelly. You good? Come on. Ooh, I just smelled toilet. Toilet. Oh, she's a wobbly one. Oh, she likes her wobbles. Yeah, that's all right. I hope. I'm confident that it just wobbles. Okie dokie. This might get a little wobbly up here, but we gotta hurry. It's breaking up pretty much, isn't it? Yeah, kind of noticing that. Makes me a little uncomfortable because it's so brittle. But it is nice to not have to do a bunch of cutting it up once it gets there. All right, so here's our deal. We got to take the rest of this cedar elm out, and it's got this little rock retaining wall that goes around it all the way around it. Gas meter over there. Sewer clean out. But don't want to drop the trunk on a retaining wall, so piled up some logs here and we're going to try to fell it right here on top of that stuff and right out here. So now let's go with it, see what happens. Timber. Absolutely perfect.
Should have hit him with the. You see, with extreme caution, there's a tree falling in the area.
I think I forgot.
Yeah.
All right. Went to perfection. My wedge, I cut the wedge a little too far around, and I thought, well, I can fix the wedge or I can just move my pile of stuff real quick. And it landed on those, and then it never touched the rock. You can see the rock basically is just standing there. It's not really, the concrete really didn't bite when they put the stuff in, so I didn't want to hit them and knock them all over. So anyway, yeah, to perfection. So another one bites the dust, cedar elm down. Took that pecan tree out over there. We got quite a bit of footage of that, but I don't think it's going to be overly usable. And I don't know if the stuff that I got today is usable either, but I'm going to try anyway. So me and Kid Shane giving the thumbs up. Yeah, I think we're actually fixing to head to Granbury and pick up. Brooks got a sponsorship from John Firm with John Firm Automotive. Go pick up a couple of brand new Cali 250 4-strokers and actually stop by Bishelia's and pick up Rivers Honda, and I got to go by the bow shop and get some work done on my backup bow, aka whitetail / pig bow. And yeah, I got a lot to do today. So anyway, we got to get this thing loaded. We're going to shut this off and get on the road. All right, River is trying out the Buckingham with the spurs here. He's never done this before, so it's kind of a new.
How?
So you do it more in front of you, not to the sides.
So, and then you just.
Yep, you're in. Lay back, and there you go. And then you. Well, step up another step or two. You want to get the. That's definitely the hard part, and that's when you're going to rip out, is whenever you're leaning forward like that. So it is awkward trying to get that part. And of course you're in a weird spot in the way the tree's leaning too, so that could be complicating things for you. You don't have to over exaggerate the stab in there.
Well, yeah, I'm just.
Yeah, it might make it hard to get it out whenever you're trying to pull your foot if you over stab.
Just once you're in that point.
Yeah.
Hard to...
Mostly from this direction.
Not from that way, no.
All right, guys, going to try to be quick-ish with this. Yeah, so here's the deal. Most of you guys know that I've been in Colorado and in Alaska for the last month or so. And so being up there in the climates that I was in, especially in Alaska those last couple of weeks before I came home, dealing with temperatures in the mid-50s, to come here and have temperatures double that has been pretty gnarly for me. And quite honestly, the first day I went up and worked in the pecan tree, I got scary hot. I overheated to the point where I was having chills and dehydrated in the whole shooting match. And so come home and kind of had to lick my wounds that evening and rehydrate and try to go back at it the next day. And so the next few days, when we punched out the rest of that pecan tree, the cedar elm, and then that big pine tree, kind of had to pace myself. Yeah, I'm having to learn that in lots of aspects. I'm having to learn to do that in spiritual and physical and emotional and lots of ways. But my takeaway from these last few days is doing these tree jobs. You know, there's a lot of obvious things you need to watch for. There's houses underneath me. My son is underneath me. There's power lines. There's lots of obstacles. I don't want to cut myself with a chainsaw. There's trees can break out. I mean, you can fall. There's a lot of stuff that you're watching for that are very visible. But what spoke to me the most was the not so visible. And what really got me over these last few days was honestly something you can't see. It was just the heat. And so it's really made me think a lot about the spiritual realm. And we read in Ephesians chapter 6 where it talks about putting on the full armor of God. And it talks about putting on the shoes of peace and the loins of truth and the breastplate of righteousness and the helmet of salvation and the shield of faith and the sword of the Spirit. And those are arming us for a spiritual realm that we can't even see. And if it has any kind of effect on us like the heat had on me these last few days, I think we're selling the spiritual realm very, very short. I think we're not really giving it the credit that it's due. And quite honestly, I think that might be why a lot of us are walking around kicking rocks all the time and depressed and in the mully grubs, because I think there's a lot of stuff going on spiritually that we're not even aware of. And so that's what I want to pass on to you guys. Is I'm not saying that we should be running scared and all that stuff and oh my gosh and freaking out. In fact, we just talked about the devil not even being omnipresent a video or two back. But I do think we need to be aware that the spiritual realm is very real. And there's a lot going on in the spiritual realm that affects us. And I think it's important to realize that Ephesians chapter 6 wasn't printed just for giving us some good literature to read. It's to apply that to our lives. It's to put on the full armor of God so that we can stand our ground. Because there is one that is out there that is trying to take you out. He's trying to devour you. And it's subtle sometimes. It's not even something that you see or you don't recognize it. And quite honestly, as the American church, we've kind of shut off the spiritual realm anyway. So we don't want to dabble in those things because it might creep us out or might make us look weird or whatever. So, yeah, the spiritual realm, it is real. And I want to challenge you guys to think about that for you in your life, in your walk. You're in the spiritual realm. It's not something that you can just pretend doesn't exist or not think about it so it doesn't affect you. In fact, it probably even more so does whenever you try to discount it, because it can play you like a game of ping pong. So anyway, I realize I probably need to do a little better on some of the content. I'm going to work on those things. I'm trying to work on them. I'm trying to learn this stuff as I go. But I sure appreciate the few of you guys that are watching, and I hope they're speaking to you. I hope you're getting ministered to out of these things. I think it's neat that you get to go watch me catch salmon and cut trees down and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not really trying to teach people how to fish. I don't care if you learn how to cut trees. What does matter to me is your eternity. And I care that you might be able to glean something out of this that might encourage you to get you on to your next step, to your next encounter with Him. So that's my heart. That's my prayer. I thank you guys for watching. Love you. And, man, hope you're digging them. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Blessings, guys.